I'm Courtney Mays, and this is Kurt Whiteside, and we are here for the second session of our questions. Kurt, you had mentioned before that many families can go without paying out of pocket from their family funds. How is this even possible?
Interestingly enough, for the past years, we've been giving all of our families a strategy. Actually, there's 10 or 11 strategies that we give them. A couple of them you can run for 90 days with a few hours a week of invested time, and you end up with about a $4,000 fees that you can put against your trip. Also, there's 6-8 strategies too that each are worth between $1,500 and $2,500. So interestingly enough, we do bring 90% of our athletes aboard with no family funds and about 70% of their parents. So if you have a need and want to do this, it absolutely can happen. It's not a burdensome thing at all.
Well, one thing I also want to mention is that you have a network of people that you can absolutely utilize, and you get out of this what you put into it, just like in athletics. And like he said, it's definitely something that you could take advantage of and come out of pocket with very little money. Sorry, just
that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
What all is covered in the cost, or maybe the question should be, what all isn't covered in their cost of the trip? Okay,
really quickly, there's 3 things we don't cover, and that's one thing, getting to the gateway city. The gateway city is normally in the East Coast, so me being in Columbus, Ohio, it's a $100 bill. In Denver, it's $175. In California, it's a different number. So the segments in America always add up to a little bit more, but the round trip fare is really inexpensive. We handle that. You just tell us where you're coming from to get to the gateway city. So that's one thing we don't do. The second thing we don't do is travel insurance. I'm a 3 million mile traveler, and I've yet to buy travel insurance, so I'm not a great one to ask, but we give you reasons to buy it. It's up to you to do it. We don't sell it, but we'll give you avenues to go research it. The third thing is we don't do lunch and supper. This is not a diet trip, thankfully, but we don't do lunch and supper. The reason we don't is we can't call the games and say, Carly's really hungry, time out, we're going to go eat, because we are 12 train stops away from the field and we cannot ring the dinner bell in pairs. However, breakfast is monstrous. If you want to eat for 2 or 3 hours there, it's all yours to do. It's plenty of food, so at least you get a good start of the day.
And also to mention, kind of speaking about not covering lunch and dinner, what kind of money could they expect to spend on a day for food?
I'll go to the week side. If you go on a week and you have an Applebee's kind of budget, not cuisine, but budget, about $150 can do you if you're just eating modestly like you would back home and not eating 5-star meals and so forth. So it's really easy to get by on a nice small lunch and a great meal and still stay within your budget.
So going back to the flights a little bit, the teams, we try to get the teams to fly together, or how does all that work out?
The team, we normally take, I think, 3 flights over there, 3 or 4 flights. They all arrive in different hours, but always probably before 9 a.m. So it's just a matter of a coordination of where they're coming from in America. And we have a few that don't want to fly, and those guys, they go by ship, and they have to start 4 months ahead of time.
So we're going to start preparing in August for that,
right? Exactly.
Okay. So not necessarily, it just depends on where they're coming from?
Right.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, so what if somebody has air miles to use, or one of their parents is a pilot? How do we handle that?
Easy enough. We give a rate to them that they can discount from the overall cost of the trip. So if the cost of a trip is $750 or $1,000 or $1,200, that comes off the top of the trip if they want to contribute air miles or something. So
okay.
Can happen.
And going a little bit now towards the actual trip again, is you end up in Paris. Why is that?
Well, it's probably one of the top cities in the world that everyone would want to discover. So since we're nearby and we end our tournament on Sunday, what better city could we go to unless it was Paris? Paris is the city of love, and believe me, it's just lovely. It's incredible. It's a lot of things to see, fun things to see, and of course, normally it's on most people's hit list of cities that you would like to see, but most are not able to fulfill this dream.
Okay, so what now? What should a family who wants to go, what should they do?
First off, after seeing this, you probably get back in touch with me and send me, I think my email address is somewhere on here, or my phone number. You can text me or email me and just ask me. Obviously, there's maybe not much more to fill in, but you want to talk to me a little bit, I can send you reference listings. I can, we probably get 2,000 of those, so if you want to call all 2,000, that's probably okay for me as well, but we do have some people to connect with. But contacting me to kind of get things straightened up as to even more details or any questions more that you have to ask, I'm available to have those answered. So that's a pretty easy next step.
Okay, well, those are all the questions that we had gathered from previous conversations with a lot of people, just based on what kind of questions they ask. So to wrap up, we hope that you will give us a call to take advantage of an amazing trip of a lifetime. And that's all I got.
Yeah, it's obviously it's an incredible adventure. It's one of those things that if you want to do it, you will do it. If you don't want to kind of do it, you won't really do it. So it's one of those things that you've got to invest a little bit of time, and the reward is just dynamic on the side of what it brings to you. It's a monster trip. We play softball at a very, very high level. And of course, the adventure of culture and history is also at an equally very, very high level as well. So anxious to have you guys aboard. If you want to give me either a text message me or give me an email, that's great. But it's right in front of you to the offering, and we kind of go from there. We go by references, or you connect with us and we discuss if it can be a fit, and that's kind of the next step. So, by the way, I just want to mention also in our last little moment, this girl I'm sitting beside actually played professionally in France. So it does have a dream, and one of those dreams could come true that you guys can also do the same thing when your softball days are over and you want to call me and say, Kurt, I want to play in Spain, or I want to play in Italy, or I want to play in Austria or something. That these are things also that we can manage down the road a little bit. But this girl next to me did exactly that, so it was kind of a fun trip. Did you think so too?
Oh, it was definitely a cultural experience of a lifetime. I did it at 16 years old, and my parents sent me by myself, which was a whole different experience. But it was really a lot of fun, and I will always remember it and treasure that time that we had there. So,
well, thanks a bunch, and do hope to hear back from you all. So thank you again.